Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. The Canadiens get absolutely blown out of the water against the Colorado Avalanche, or should I say the Quebec Nordiques. Either way, in Colorado on the second of a back-to-back, they get blown out 7-2. That's a tough one. I mean, our winning streak comes to an end there, but and as I said at the end of last video, like nobody really expects the Canadiens to win against this really good Colorado Avalanche team. Like it's completely understandable that they would lose, especially going back-to-back games against them, but you would like to keep it a little bit closer than what we were able to provide in this one. But and nonetheless, there were definitely some shining moments going on in this game. There's some times the Canadiens look pretty good, but altogether I feel like there are just too many errors, defensive errors, just inability to play in their end of the ice that just allowed Colorado to just pile on to the Canadiens throughout this one. So a tough one there. They get 2 goals into the first period. The Canadiens started the first period actually pretty well. They were skating pretty good. They got a power play earlier that they were able to get some good chances on, but they didn't get any chances that actually led to goals, obviously. Or like we had a couple chances, and Bolduc had a really nice opportunity on the power play early. A great save by Blackwood there to keep that one out of the net. And then obviously, after that power play ends, they go down the other way, and just a really bad coverage situation. It was Xhekaj and Carrier playing together, and Xhekaj was on the puck carrier, and Carrier decided he wanted to go over and play the same guy, and then left Brock Nelson completely wide open for a shot on goal because Carrier just completely left his post playing the pass and decided to play the puck carrier even though Xhekaj was already there. So I don't know what that's all about. There's some sort of communication barrier going on there, but they just weren't able to communicate with each other, and that led to the first goal. Gabriel Landeskog scored the second one. It looked like it would be Brock Nelson again, but it wasn't. Either way, it was an interesting one. I think you could have argued that one was goaltender interference. Obviously, the Canadiens challenged it, and it did not. It upheld. I don't think it was goaltender interference. I think you could argue for sure, but it did to me look like Anderson made most of the contact on the goaltender. But the problem is that all of that gets avoided if we just play a little bit better, and don't allow the Colorado Avalanche to have these odd man rushes. Because that seemed to be what's happening the entire game. It's just Colorado just kept attacking on the rush, and capitalizing on our ability or lack of ability to get back on D after our offensive push of our own. And that leads to those chances, and they scored on almost every single chance that they had in this game. So credit to them, obviously. But yeah, so that one's interesting. They challenged, and obviously it didn't go. We killed off the penalty after the fact, so that was good. And after the first period, we weren't down by too much. It was only 2-0. We could definitely come back from a deficit like that, but obviously that did not happen. Brent Burns starts off the second period, 50 seconds in, with just a really unassuming shot. Brock Nelson right before that had one go off of the crossbar. And then Brent Burns just right off the faceoff just takes a shot. It must have gone through a screen or something. It just goes in. Maybe you'd like a save on that one. We could maybe chalk that one up to lack of goaltending, but I don't know if I would blame any of the goals tonight on Dobesh. I feel like just the defense in general, from all the players on the ice, need to be a little bit better at protecting our goaltender. We didn't really have that tonight. Brock Nelson gets another one off of a really nice play from Natchez, but that's another one that happens because we can't get the puck out of the zone. We're getting too many rush opportunities coming our way, and that one goes in for that reason. And then for the Canadiens highlights, Ivan Demidov scores one. It's always good to see Demidov get some goal scoring going. It's his 6th goal of the season. For now, anyway, puts him back on top of the rookie scoring leaders. So that's good to see. Slavkovsky with a really, really nice assist. He gets the pass from Demidov, makes a nice spin move, and then finds him, as Demidov's kind of coming back around the net. He gets back in front to a one-timer position. Slavkovsky's able to slide that through the crease, and Demidov puts that one home. So a really nice play between those two. They're really gaining some chemistry together, it seems like. So That's always a good thing to see. I like it when, these guys can kind of gel together and create some offense. That didn't really, last long. Obviously, Nathan McKinnon gets one at the end. This is a weird goal as well. It's just another one. It's like Mike Matheson. Obviously, we're down 4-1, so I understand we're trying to push for offense. We get the D coming in, but Mike Matheson tries to play the hero, and he gets all the way down the ice, and he's trying to make like cut moves or whatever at the blue line, and nobody's covering like behind Matheson in case it doesn't work out. We're all trying to push for offense. We're all down, deep into the zone or whatever, and he loses the puck, and it creates a 2-on-1, and then it's 4-on-4. I get it. Like there's not that many people on the ice to cover back, but I don't understand why Mike Matheson thinks that he's like the best player in the world, like trying to dangle through the entirety of the Colorado Avalanche players to score a goal, especially when you're on defense. Like, and then so, and then he chokes it up, and then McKinnon's able to score the other way on a 2-on-1, and like this just. You can't be doing those things. Like I understand. I think it's definitely a problem. The amount of offensive defensemen that we have, or at least offensively minded defensemen that we have on this team right now. It seems like pretty much every single player on our team plays with an offensive mindset, including Carrier, who is supposed to be our defensive player. But like we're seeing Mike Matheson try to dangle through the entire team while being a defenseman and having nobody back to support if it doesn't work. Like just get the puck in deep and then get back. Like I don't understand why we're trying to make that happen, but he tries to make that happen, and it turns into a goal. Like, and there's too many times, not just this game but every game this season. I feel like there are too many opportunities that the opposing teams get because our defensemen are trying way too hard to play offense, and none of our forwards are actually covering back for them. Like it seems like we're trying to cheat and get an additional guy on the attack, and then when it doesn't work, like the opposing team gets breakaways, they get 2-on-1s, 3-on-1s, like that. All of those things happen. I don't think there were actually any breakaways for the Avalanche today, but 2-on-1s and 3-on-1s both occurred in this game, and it's just like that happens when we have we have defensemen jumping into the play offensively, and then nobody covers back, and then the defensemen aren't able to get back. So we need to be smarter in all zones of the ice there, both forwards and defensemen. And like it's okay. I think it's definitely a strength of this team that we're able to step up offensively. Like our defensemen are able to come in and play some offense, and I think that's something that not a lot of teams can do. But if we can't also play defense as a defenseman, then we may as well just put 5 forwards on the ice. Like, why do we even need defensemen? So that's definitely frustrating, and it doesn't get better for the Canadians going into the third period here. Devontae scores to make it 6-1, and this is another weird one. If you go back and look at it, it looks like the Canadians were playing shorthanded for like I don't even know how long, like at least like 10 or 15 seconds. We're in our offensive zone playing 4-on-5 because there's nobody in the zone, and all of a sudden they get an odd man rush going the other way, and there's only one defenseman because we don't have anybody else on the ice. And then Brendan Gallagher jumps on the ice to try to help out at the end, but there's nobody there, and like that's a coaching problem. I don't understand how that can even happen. Like that we're just like that's something you see happen in like a squirt game. Like you're coaching a squirt game, you're playing in like some like little league game or whatever, and you forget how many players are on the ice, and then you have to jump on late or something like that. Like that is not something that should be happening in the NHL, especially when the Canadians have like 4 coaches behind the bench. Like what one of those guys needs to be counting how many players are on the ice at any given time and preventing something like that from happening, because it's just embarrassing. Like I don't understand how we can play in the NHL and then accidentally play shorthanded for like 20 seconds or something like that, and then concede a goal because of it. That makes no sense to me, and like that's all I'm gonna say about that. But I don't understand. But and then we get a power play. Lane Hudson scores his 4th of the season on the power play. A nice little one-timer there. I like to see Hudson taking more opportunities to shoot the puck. I feel like definitely in his first season last year, in the beginning of this season. He was definitely more of a pass first mindset. I like to see him taking those offensive opportunities to shoot the puck. He's got a pretty nice shot when he actually unloads it. He just hasn't been doing it very much, so I like to see him doing it there. If we can get Demidov to start doing the same thing, obviously he scored today as well, but if we get Demidov to kind of have a shoot first mindset sometimes as well, although I understand that both of those guys are playmakers and they're very good at that role as well. But that's gonna be huge for this team if we can get all hands on deck in the offense department. I feel like our offense, I think, was definitely a highlight of this game. We definitely had some chances, not all of them went in, of course, but definitely some chances. Our power play looked pretty decent, actually. The power play to open the game, and then the one that Lane Hudson scored on. Those were both really solidly run power plays. So definitely a highlight there. Caulfield and Suzuki get assists. Suzuki gets his 21st assist of the season, so really impressive for him as he continues to push towards, potentially getting an Olympic bid for Team Canada there. So it should be interesting to see how that goes. We can talk about the Olympics another day with how Bill Guerin is running his stupid USA team, and the fact that he thinks that Cole Caulfield is a peewee player even though he's scoring from anywhere on the ice. But that's a conversation for another day. Gabriel Landeskog scores. That was the last goal of the game with a little under 7 minutes left in the game. It was just a nice tip from him. Nothing like anytime it's a tip, you can't really do much as a goaltender there. We got to be having a guy on him, or even better, having a guy block that initial shot that comes in. I think another thing on the penalty kill, it seems like we are way too often on the penalty kill, we are just failing to get the puck out of the zone when we have a chance to. And when we play teams like the Colorado Avalanche that are this prolific and all ends of the ice, you have to be able to take advantage of the chances you get to get yourself a break, get a change in, and all that kind of stuff. But like every time we're on the penalty kill, it seems like Jake Evans and Josh Anderson are out there for like the entire 2 minutes, because any chance that we get to clear the puck out, we just like throw it right back to the opposing team, or we like whiff on the clearing attempt or whatever. It's like we have to be a little bit better at that, and even more so, we just have to be a little bit more disciplined. I feel like the Canadians are taking a ton of penalties this year, but oh well. But yeah, that's the way that goes. Yeah, the moral of the story in this game is just we have too many defensive mistakes that we're making here that are causing, and obviously, like, we play the Colorado Avalanche. Like, you look at this team, they are absolutely dominant this year, which is not necessarily surprising, but I feel like considering they really weren't that dominant in previous years, but for whatever reason they've just flipped a switch and now they are just far and away the best team in the league, in my opinion. Obviously, the league standings will back that up. They only have one regulation loss. So you look at that and you're like, yeah, like obviously any mistake that the Canadians make is going to lead to a goal on the other end. And, credit to them. Obviously, they took advantage of every single mistake that the Canadians made for the most part. Obviously, a couple saves were made here and there, but you can't, like, if you want to win against the best teams in the league, you have to be solid for a full 60 minutes. And I feel like that's becoming a theme for the entire season. Obviously, we said that pretty much every single video this year, but like it matters now, right? Like when you play against these solid opponents, like we're gonna play Colorado again at some point this season. We're gonna play Carolina twice. We're gonna play the Stars again this season. We're gonna play the Jets. They're not as good this year as they have been, but still, we're going to play some really solid opponents throughout the rest of the year. And if we're going to play, like you're shoddy, we're going to play some good and some bad or whatever, we're going to lose those games. Like, you have to be able to be solid in your own zone and capitalize off the chances that you get. That's how the Colorado Avalanche are winning, and that's what the Canadians need to do if they want to find the same sort of success that the Colorado Avalanche have had in the last, 5 or so years. So I think it's good, like bulletin board material, right? We get to put this game up and be like, this is, an example of what we want to be as a team once everybody's kind of in their form and ready to rumble. Obviously there's still work to be done. I think we can definitely tell that there's still some holes in our lineup that we'd love to fill, maybe with a good, second line center, or maybe a better goaltender, I guess. Obviously we have Fowler in the minors right now, but even so, you never know what happens. But obviously some holes in the lineup to fill, but generally speaking, we want to be able to be the Colorado Avalanche in the coming years, right? Like, so this is good, a good experience for this young group to look at a team that is really dominant in this league and be like, that's what we need to be, and hopefully, we need to be able to clean some stuff up and obviously be better in both ends of the ice there. But we need to be able to use this as some fuel to be like, we get to play more like how they play, right? So hopefully they can take that and run with it a little bit, but won't help us right now, obviously. But overall, you look at the whole thing. We went on our 3-game road trip here, and we ended up with 4 out of possible 6 points. So I feel like generally speaking, you can be pretty satisfied with the effort from the Canadians there. I don't necessarily think that people would have expected that we would have got 4 out of 6 there, especially getting that pretty dominant win against Vegas yesterday. I mean, obviously, we got put in a tough spot being, back to back. And not to say that the Colorado Avalanche weren't also tired and all that kind of stuff. They played like 3 games in 4 days or whatever. So it's just the way it goes. But I think we can definitely be satisfied with where we're at despite the loss. And then just gotta see what we can do going forward to get better. I think the Canadians still, despite this loss as well, are sitting in second in the Atlantic. There's still some games to be played. Obviously, that might change that a little bit, but we're in a playoff spot. We're doing pretty well, but we need to be able to actually build off of this, right? Like, I think we started our season really well in October coming into the month. Played pretty well there, but we started losing, and then we went on that 5-game losing streak, right? Like, we can't have another 5-game losing streak, right? Like, we lost a game pretty big. We need to be able to respond with a win in our next game, and we got a big game coming up as well. Tuesday, we're playing the Senators at home, the second time at home, so this is a huge game for the Canadians against a team who is, sitting right next to them. We're actually 1 point ahead of them as of right now in the Atlantic Division, so it's a huge matchup against, what could be a potential playoff series against the Ottawa Senators if both of us are, stay where we're at throughout the rest of the season. Just doubtful, but even still, it's a really solid team as well. So we need to be able to respond and not let this game kind of sink into us and lead to, another losing streak here. So, that's all I've got for you guys today. A really tough one, but, overall pretty solid for the entirety of the road trip. But gotta win the next game. Gotta be better in the defensive zone. Can't blame the goalies, but gotta be better defensively. Make use of our offensive opportunities. That's all I've got for you today. So I will see you guys on Tuesday.